The weather's cold outside, Harb, but the Vols are hot, at least on the basketball court. The men,
The men.
the men,
Yeah.
not the women, but um, yeah, we got a lot to talk about. Harb and I were just talking like we're gonna go fast here, so I hope everybody's buckled up and ready to go and ready to listen to what we have to say.
Yeah.
Right, Harb?
Uh, we're going so fast that you forgot the introduction.
I did. I'm Nice. That's Harb.
Welcome to the Section YY podcast.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Tired but good.
I'm tired as well. Been run ragged this. It's been a long weekend. So
Yes, definitely.
been busy in Sevier County.
I think it's
So
been busy everywhere, so we'll get right into it. What do you say?
let's do it. I want to take the reins real quick.
I'll
First,
I'll allow it.
first order of business. In my opinion, it's the most important of the sporting events that happened this weekend.
The
Team USA.
I thought you were going to say the NASCAR race in Atlanta.
Yeah, that's exactly where I was going. Team USA, men's hockey, first gold medal since 1980, since the Miracle on Ice. They take down Canada 2-1, overtime. Jack Hughes gets the golden goal. You're gonna have to forgive me. This is disrespectful as hell. I can't. My mind is blanking on the goalie's name. He had 41 saves
Incredible
in a gold
performance.
medal game against your rival.
Hallebeck,
Yeah,
Connor Hall. I was about to say
that's
Jasper,
exactly
but that
right.
I can't. I don't think that was him.
No, that's
Yeah,
exactly right. Because Tyrese Halliburton, I saw him say something. Yeah, that's right. Um, Absolutely incredible. Vibes were so high. I got to work at the beginning of the third period. Watched the entire third period, and we were about to open right as overtime started. So it was kind of cool. Kind of like the whole staff that was there was huddled in the bar watching it before we opened the doors. And we had sound on and everything, and we scored. And none of us are like huge hockey guys or girls. It was electric. We were all patriots for 5 minutes, and it was just fun. Also, shout out to Jack Hughes just missing half of his mouth.
God,
Didn't give a shit. He was just talking about how much he loved his country and how fun it was representing it and how happy he was. Freebirds never sounded so good.
did y'all play Kurt Angle's entrance music after the win?
I did not. I actually I blared Freebird, skipped to the
There
four
you
minute
go.
mark. I skipped to
That,
the 4 minute mark, blared it. Um, I've never been a big hockey fan. I've gotten more into it over the last few years, progressively. Meaningful hockey, like international play or NHL playoffs, is the bomb.
it's
It's so
good.
fun.
It
It's
is
so
very
fun.
good.
I don't really know a ton. I like my knowledge has grown recently. I don't know a ton of players' names and who they play for and whatnot, but I know the Americans, and I'm damn proud of them. So shout out to the good guys bringing home a good medal. That was a lot of fun and a hell of a way to end the 2026 Winter Olympics.
I'll watch a little NHL during the week, like if you know there's not a basketball game on I want to watch or something. Flip it on the ESPN app, and you can watch. There's a plethora of hockey games on most nights, so I'll watch that. But yeah, great win today. Huge atmosphere over there in Milan. I mean,
And shout out to the women, did the same
yeah.
exact.
Did you did you see the Canadians tweeted silver still shines after they finished second in the women? And I was like, please tell me they're going to tweet that again. I don't think they did.
Just do that. I forget who it was, but one of the players for Canada. after the game. He said, go back and watch the game and tell me who the better team
Yeah.
was. And everybody was just grilling him. And it was like, if
What
only they actually played a game where you can decide a winner or a loser and decide who the better team was.
Harb, did you see where the runners up got a stuffed animal?
No.
Look it up. Like they get handed a some kind of a stuffed animal. The women
Is that
got it, and
real?
then I'm pretty sure it was, unless I've been duped by AI, which wouldn't be the first time. But you can like see their faces, and they're just like, "What the hell is this?" Look it up and tell me if I'm wrong. While you're doing that,
Oh, it is real.
that's what I thought.
What
It's
the?
like the IOC spared no expense on the
Nathan,
runner-up medal.
Nathan McKinnon was pissed.
Yeah, look at him.
What in the?
Also, direct FBI director Kash Patel was in the locker room celebrating with the guys after the game and called President Trump. President Trump has invited the team to the State of the Union on Tuesday night. So they will hopefully be in Washington, D.C. Tuesday night for the State of the Union. Now, my question is, this would make Democrats look so bad, but I'm not going to put it past them. They'll probably do it. Do they stand up and cheer Team USA hockey because Donald Trump invited them? There's been many guests that Trump has invited to his State of the Union speeches over the years, like little kids with cancer, war heroes, and they'll just sit there like knots on a log with their arms closed, like they've just eaten sour grapes and won't clap or acknowledge them or anything. If they don't do that Tuesday night, if the team's there, they're acknowledged and they sit there and clap, why would you ever vote Democrat again? Why would you even? All right, we're getting off topic, Harvey. I'm getting my blood pressure up.
We are
But
roughly.
watch, seriously, watch that Tuesday night. If they're at the speech, watch for that and let's see how they react. And if they react the way I think they might, they'll be in the running for haters and losers of the week next week.
Well, it took us less than 10 minutes to get
Yeah.
on that topic.
So
Um,
let's get going here, Harb.
I don't know. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna give a ton of insight on that topic, but
You don't have to.
everybody should be proud of that team. It's something.
Yes.
I mean, it's been 46 years, and the last time we did it was literally called a miracle, and they made a movie about it. So it is that big a deal. So it doesn't
Al
matter.
Michaels was on the call of that game, and he's
Hmm.
still announcing.
It doesn't matter what side you're on or whatever you want to call it. Them boys and girls, both teams, put on for their country. I'm sure there's a lot of people in those locker rooms that don't see eye to eye on everything, and that's totally fine. They went and battled for us, and they did it. So that's all
That's
I'm going to
right.
say about that.
That's exactly right. Made us all proud, bringing home the gold, ladies and men, both of them.
Yes.
All right. So a lot to go on here, Harb. We talked about hockey. So we're gonna do 2 or 3 points really fast here, and then talk about the Baller Vols, Rick Barnes led basketball team. But first, Tennessee baseball this weekend, Harb drops 2 out of 3 to the Kent State Golden Flashes at the new Lindsey Nelson Stadium. I was in attendance for 6.5 innings on Saturday. Beautiful weather. Finally got to see the stadium. Haven't didn't really have time to walk around yet because we got there late. They set a new attendance record on Saturday, 7,001. Us three walked in and tipped it over 7,000. What a
Oh,
coincidence.
so
Um,
funny.
but the story was Vols won on Friday night in walk-off fashion. Friend of the show, he's been a guest on here, Tyler Mott, who transferred from Walter State, Claiborne County guy. A walk-off homer in the bottom of the ninth. Vols won 4-3. And then yesterday, when we walked in, it was 1-0. They ended up giving up two. They ended up losing 3-2. And then today, it was one of the worst. game. I didn't get to see the whole game. I saw 7 innings and I had to leave, go pick up somebody at the airport. But listening on the radio on the way there, that had to be one of the, and I'm sure there's been others, they've not played well. One of the worst played games of this new era of Tennessee baseball. And the new era, I mean, Tony Vitello on. A lot of errors, running the bases, fielding the ball. Um, the pitching was really good Friday and Saturday. I mean, really good. Kent State didn't really hit the ball all that well today, but Tennessee was walking the bases, walking guys left and right. I think at one point later in the game, I never heard the final number, but they had 20 base runners today only on 7 hits and 9 runs at that point. I don't know if they got any more as the game went on, but yeah, just a sloppy weekend from Tennessee. A lot of different areas. Didn't hit the ball very well at all. They hit some home runs, but they were all solo shots. Just not much of anything going on. Cause for concern, or is this like November basketball, like you mentioned last week?
Is both an answer?
Can be.
Yeah, it's not good, but it's also February 22nd. So and I don't know if you said this. Sorry, I was looking for something. Kent State's not bad.
Right. They're not.
Like they're a pretty good mid-major baseball team. That doesn't defend this weekend. I watched just about every bit of the Saturday game, and that was a struggle. And I didn't get to watch any of the game today, like zero. So I can't give you any insight. But you put up 1 run in game two. What was the final in game one?
4-3.
So you put up three. So you put up 4 runs in the first game, 1 run in the second, and we scored what, two today?
No, they scored 2 Saturday and 5 today.
Oh, we get beat 3-2 on Saturday.
Mm-hmm. And 2 of the runs they scored today were unearned. So really, they only drove in 3 runs.
That's
It's not Tennessee baseball, is it?
no, not at all. Especially for this past decade. Um, yeah, I don't really know. I don't know how to. I mean, obviously, I'm not happy, and I know they're not either. Um, it's one of those things where I'm not going to say the season goes one of two ways from here on out because they've played 6 games. But whoever we play next is probably going to get the red ass treatment. Who do we play next?
Well, I'm glad you brought that up. So they play Bellarmine here in Knoxville on Tuesday. So Bellarmine might get that. But this coming weekend, they go to Arlington, Texas, home of the Texas Rangers,
Yeah.
and they've got 3 games. Let's see, Friday, 4 p.m. versus number one UCLA. Great.
Okay.
Then you've got Saturday at noon versus Arizona State. I don't know much about them. They used to be good, long time ago. Don't know what they're like now. And then March 1st on Sunday at 11:30 a.m. versus Virginia Tech.
11:30 Dallas time.
It says 11:30 a.m. Eastern time.
Is that in Dallas?
Yes.
Interesting. So they're going to play at 10:30 in the morning.
10:30 Dallas time.
Yeah, that's interesting.
I'm trying to see if Arizona State is not ranked by D1 Baseball, so they are not ranked. I don't know if there's any other rankings. USA Today, there's no data available. So they are not ranked according to D1Baseball.com. Neither is Virginia Tech. and they're not even receiving votes apparently. So UCLA is still number one. Coming into this weekend, they were 2-1. It's not been updated till tomorrow, so I don't know how they did. But yeah, um, I got some tough game right out of the gate on Friday. I mean, Bellarmine, they should handle that one on Tuesday night, get back in the win column. But yeah, they didn't hit the ball well at all. Left a lot of runners stranded in scoring position. Fielding the ball wasn't very good. Continuing theme of this program, even back to Tony Vitello, is they can't throw runners out on second base. Kent State ran the bases pretty well. You're right, Kent State. I asked Thomas, our baseball analyst here on the show, uh, text him yesterday during the game. I was like, "Is Kent State any good?" Because I hadn't read up on them, and he said, "Yeah, they won their conference last year, and they're a projected regional team this year." Looked them up, and I believe they're picked to finish second behind Miami, Ohio in the MAC. But got a lot of older guys, got some transfer portal guys in, older veteran team. Tennessee's not older veteran team; they're young. And we started out slow last year, so I'm not saying I wasn't even worried about it, to be honest. It's a little frustrating losing a series like that, but um, hopefully Kent State goes on and wins a bunch of ball games this year. Makes us look a little better, but Tennessee's
Yeah.
got some things to figure out. They didn't hit the ball well at all, didn't field it well, sloppy on the base paths. This is not a good, just not a good series this weekend. But it's February 22nd. They got a lot of ball. They got a lot of games left to play, so they got time to figure it out. So
Yeah, it's a non-issue until it's an issue.
yeah,
I feel like that's the best way to describe it.
their next home series is not till March 6th against our old friends from Wright State. For those that don't remember, we played them in the 2021 regional here at Lindsey Nelson when Drew Gilbert hit the walk-off grand slam, come from behind win. Between that, after this weekend series, they've got ETSU and Oakland at Lindsey Nelson Stadium before they return to weekend action. So we'll keep tabs on the Vols and see how they do this coming week. Hard Bloody Vols lost another one today since we recorded last. That's another. They've lost two more, so that's I think four losses in a row and like nine of their last 11. Things are not going well for Kim Caldwell and the Lady Vols right now.
No, I actually watched a decent amount of that game today, and they just suck to watch. Can we just be extremely transparent and point blank on it? They suck to watch.
It's hard to watch. You're right. They're hard to watch.
At least today they were abysmal on the defensive end of the court. Didn't Oklahoma put up 100? Is that the final?
Yeah. Lady Vols lost 100-93.
You put up 93, and you were never. I mean, it was never a blowout, but it didn't really feel like they were ever going to win that game. That's crazy. I know we got it to 2 or 3 with roughly 30 seconds left, and then we got that flagrant call. That was interesting, I guess. I guess is a good way to put it. It was completely unintentional, but and we didn't have the sound on. I'm assuming they said it was forceful, but not intentional, or however they roll
Mm-hmm.
flagrant ones, like for a little hard. And it was over after that. But yeah, they got demons. That's the best. That's the best way I can put it, because there's talent all over the place. And we talked about that on the last show. This team's got top 5, top 10 talent in the country. They just can't get out of their own way, and that probably starts at the top. I know I defended the hell out of Kim Caldwell on the last show, but that part probably starts at the top.
There's been a lot of issues on this team, Harb, and I'm trying to look up the player's name. I mean, go back to earlier in the season, and I know this has nothing to do with Kim Caldwell, but Ruby Whitehorn was dismissed. There's been reports of, and you see videos that people have taken of players arguing with each other on the sideline. Hey, look, you and I played sports. I've been involved with teams. We argue with each other when things aren't going great. Um, so I didn't read too much into that, but there was a player, and I cannot find her name. They left her at home today. She didn't travel with the team because she, quote, according to Kim Caldwell, didn't live up to program standards. I don't know what that means. It could be several different things. But it just seems like there's something every week with this team, whether it's Kim Caldwell's media comments, whether it's how they're playing on the court, half-assing it. I don't think they did that today, but there is nothing, there is no good vibes with this program right now. There's nothing good going on. I put out a poll the other day on Twitter, sorry, X,
The everything app.
the Everything app. 65
Everything
people
app.
vote. 65 people voted in this, Harb. Thank you for voting if you did. The question was, is Kim Caldwell in over her head? 31% said no, 69%
Nice.
said yes. So 69% of the 65 people that voted said Kim Caldwell's in over her head here at UT. I'm not ready to make that assumption or decision yet on Coach Kim Caldwell. But I was listening to another show and podcast that they had a segment the other day, and this was after Tennessee lost to a it was a brutal home loss to Texas A&M. Texas A&M's not good, and they ask because they're not going to win their next two. I'm just telling you they're not. If they do, I'll eat crow. But they got to play LSU and Vanderbilt. They're just not going to win it. So they're going to have lost 11 of their last 13 games probably to end the season. I don't think they're going to miss the tournament.
No.
Last I read, they were a 6 seed, but even losing to LSU and Vandy, they're probably going to drop to like an 8 or a 9. Um, so they're not in jeopardy of breaking that streak. You know, Lady Vols have never missed the NCAA tournament, but the question was on the show the other day was, does she survive this season? And they were going on to say, hey, in the past, this wouldn't have even been brought up. She's in year two. You know, you got to give her 3 or 4 years, get her players in here in her system. But this person made the comment that the transfer portal and the NIL era has changed all of this because you can win like that now if you do it right. And so their thought was, do they get rid of Kim Caldwell and go bring in somebody else that can turn this thing around like that? Because they've got the resources. They spent reportedly a boatload of money on this roster, brought in some really talented players, especially in the freshman class. They've got the number one player in the country coming in next year. Again, I'm not advocating for Kim Caldwell to get fired. I think she at least needs another year because they had a decent year last year, and all indications were it was going to get better, and it's not. It's gone south in a hurry, but I don't know, Harb. It's not good over there right now with this program.
It's not, but I'm an advocate for pretty much any sport, unless there is a scandal of some sort, whether that be cheating or off of the court or away from recruiting, that type of realm. Or if we just lost like literally every game. Like if his team had 4 wins right now, sure. But outside of that, I think every coach should get 4 years. If you can't get it done in 4 years, you're not going to get it done, more than likely. But, I mean, 2 years, if let's say they're a 6 seed or a 7, even at that, and they win their first round game and get bounced in the second round by a team that's better than them, I just don't think it's a fireable offense. Just personal opinion. I don't. But yeah, it is frustrating. Next year, there's probably going to be a little bit more of a spotlight on her. Like, hey, we need to at least see some improvement, or probably going to go in a different direction. But I don't know. I don't know what I don't know how Danny White feels about it. I'm not in that locker room. I'm not around that program. I'm not with Danny. I don't know. And we can speculate all we want. We can say that she's in over her head, or we can say that the players are divas per se, or whatever you want to say. We can say all this shit. We don't know. But what we do know is it's not translating on the court. And like you said, it feels like every time they're in the news, it's something not good, not related to on court play. So I do think there will be a roster overhaul of some sorts after this year. Whether players are like, I'm getting the hell out of here, or we say it's probably best if you find a new home. There are going to be some major changes headed into next year. That seems pretty obvious to me. Which kind of sucks if you think about it. Like on paper, there's a ton of talent,
Yeah.
but it don't matter how much talent you got on paper if you're 16-10. Just don't. Hell, you can go 16-10 with 3 stars.
Yeah.
So
That's exactly right. Well, we'll keep our eye on them. Like I said, they got LSU and um, Vandy to finish the season before they head to Greenville, South Carolina for the SEC tournament.
I know
And,
LSU is legit. They won by 54 today against Missouri, which Missouri is not very
and
good.
Vanderbilt's good too. They're
Uh,
all top 10, 15, both of them. So it's not,
is the
they,
Vandy game here or in Nashville?
believe it's here. LSU's on the road, I think.
So
Um,
you're hoping to split.
basically.
I think if you split, they give you a 6 seed. Because I did see the bracketology thing pop up. They're projected a 6 seed right now. I think if you go down to LSU and don't embarrass yourself, which who knows what I mean, they could easily embarrass themselves because we've seen how they played at UConn, and I think the South Carolina game was at South Carolina too. Correct.
Yes.
So when they're outmanned on the road, we have a sample size. It's probably not going to go well. But if you can muster up some strength and dignity and get a senior day win against a very good Vanderbilt team, I think that gives you a little bit of momentum heading into the tournament or the SEC tournament. Maybe rattle off a couple in that, and then once you run into somebody that you, let's just admit it, you know you're not going to beat more than likely, just cut your losses and go to the tournament and try to rattle off a few and salvage the season as best you can. Uh,
JWTDG.
In layman's that's in layman's terms, that's the best way I can put it.
Well, we'll see what they do. Like I said, they got 2 games next week. We'll keep our eye on it and we'll share our thoughts on it next week, I guess. And real quick, Lady Vols softball still rolling 14-0 hard. They just keep winning and they're blowing everybody out. I think they've only given up like 15 runs in 14 games, something like that.
Them girls are legit. They're fun to watch too. I love watching softball.
It's a fast-paced game. It's
Hmm.
quick, a lot going on. It when it's played at a high level, it's a very good game to watch. Speaking of good games, Vols had a huge win yesterday in Memorial Gymnasium in Nashville, Tennessee, over the Vanderbilt Commodores, 69-65. Hard.
Yeah, that was massive. So that makes 8 out of 9 for the Vols. I believe we are now in solo third in the SEC behind Florida and Arkansas. Correct me if I'm wrong on that.
Believe we're still tied with. I think we're tied for. I think Arkansas. I'll look it up here to confirm. Believe we're all tied at 10-4. But the SEC let me see here. The standings I've looked at, I looked at secsports.com, ESPN. I'm gonna look at them and see what they say. secsports.com had us fourth, and so does ESPN. So Florida's 12-2, Bama, Arkansas, Tennessee 10-4. So same as last week. And I'll put them up on the screen, the brackets here in a minute for the SEC tournament. But yeah, and I'll get into some analytics here in a minute, Hard, but go ahead and finish your thought on Vandy. Huge win.
Yeah, it was big time, and it's always a struggle going there. I didn't realize that we've won. What was the stat? Is it 14 out of 17 against Vandy?
I think so, yes.
That's pretty impressive when you think about it. Like, because we play in Memorial every year, which obviously we did when it was East and West, but we still do now. And it's always an absolute dogfight, even when we're way better than them. Which I wouldn't say that this year. I
Yeah.
think I think these two teams are pretty evenly matched.
Yeah.
The thing I was most impressed with is how they closed the game out. Things weren't going our way. It's kind of back and forth first half, but then give up a run, you get down 7 or 8 in the first half. I want to say it's like 33-25.
Yeah, they were down 8.
And then at the half, you're down 5, 4 or 5,
They were down 4.
and you just hang and you hang and you hang. And Ament played real bad, in my opinion, the first roughly 30 minutes of the game. And he came up big when you needed him. Like that one play was, it was funnier now. He looked like Bambi.
Yeah.
He
I know
about
which one you're talking about.
he about fell 4 times. He
Yeah.
was he was in the post or
Yeah.
kind of mid range post area. He about fell 4 times. Everybody's like, "Dude, give it up. What are you doing?" And all of a sudden, he just turns around and throws up a Dirk Nowitzki fall away. Now I was being sarcastic. As soon as he threw it up, I yelled, "Money!" Drained it. I believe that was to take the lead too. And it's just plays like that. Like and Vandy had a couple BS shots going. They had a
Yeah.
couple turnaround threes. I was just like, how in the world? But you end the game on a 12-4 run, 12-5 run over the last 3 minutes. You win by 4. It's a hell of a win. It is, and you get a road win in conference play, especially against a ranked opponent. That's awesome. That's another quad one win. I know you like your resumes.
Oh, yeah.
I know you like your resumes.
Love a good resume.
It's just so frustrating though, and I hate to bring this up because it's over with and you can't do jack shit about it. How nice would it be to just have one of those Kentucky games back?
Yeah, we talked about it last week. I was
And
talking to
I
my,
hate, and I absolutely hate to give Kentucky fans this satisfaction because we're still talking about it. And normally I just let it be to not give them the satisfaction. It would just be very nice to have just one, not even both, just one. Just have one of
I
them
mean,
back.
think if they had one, they'd be 11-3. Think if they had both, they'd be 12-2 in the conference and probably a solid 3 seed at the least right now.
Yeah, you just have the Rupp one back. That's 9 in a row.
I mean, listen to this, Harb. Tennessee has won 9 of their last 11 games. Those 2 losses at Kentucky were the only two. They've won 9 of 11, and nobody's talking about them. That's what I love about it. They've just kind of quietly sat here. They're 10-4 in the conference, and they're 20-7 overall, and not a soul's talking about them. The voters haven't ranked them in 2 weeks, even though the computers say they're top 15, which I'll show you here in a minute. But that's what I love about this right now is not a soul out there. Maybe some people around the conference are, but that's it. Like nobody's talking about Tennessee. And rightfully so. Yesterday you had the top 4 teams in the nation playing each other. Duke versus Michigan, Arizona versus Houston. So the spotlight was on those guys. This was probably the biggest game in the conference yesterday. Um, And yeah, we got a little blurb here or there, but that's what I love about it. This team has quietly gotten better as the season's gone along. Yeah, they had a couple hiccups against Kentucky, but look where they're at. You look up. Remember, we said it a few weeks ago. They were 2-3, and then they're like, Kansas gets better as the year goes on. Teams like that. All of a sudden, you wake up and they're 10-4 in the conference. They
Yeah.
just kind of, they just, they're that program right now. They just win.
Also, I want to say this, and this isn't just about Tennessee. This is about the SEC as a whole. If you pay attention to the national media and especially bracketology, the SEC is in a down year, or at least from last year. And if you compare it to last year, the SEC is probably not as good as it was. Like, we don't, like, Florida's best team in the conference. I think that's pretty safe to say. But then after that, you've got five teams that could be the second best team in the conference, which is a lot like last year. And we had, what, 12 teams make the tournament last year? We're projected 10
I
this
think
year.
last I saw, they're either 10 or 11 right now.
But we don't have anything over a three seed. Like I think Florida's a three, and there might be a four, but according to the bracketology during the Tennessee Vandy game, which I think was Andy Katz or Joe. No, it was Joe Lenardi because it was on ESPN. We've got three of the 4 or 5 seeds. We've got like 2 6 seeds, 2 7 seeds, an 8, a 9. Like, it's just jumbled. And I don't think the SEC is down. I think they're just as good as they were last year. There's just more attention elsewhere because we don't have a Darren Peterson in the conference. We don't have a Cameron Boozer. We don't have AJ, whatever his name is from BYU.
The Bonse.
DeBonce. Yeah, I knew it started with a D. There's a lot of good players, but I think the national attention is so focused on all of these great players because this draft is loaded. And Amen's right in the mix of all that.
Hmm.
I think he's probably going to be a top 10 pick. He's definitely going to be a lottery pick in this draft. But I think come tournament time, I think the SEC is going to surprise a lot of people. I really do. Because everybody's just kind of beating up on each other. But you've seen SEC teams stack up against other teams outside of the conference that a lot of people would consider good basketball teams. Look at Louisville. They've played 2 SEC teams all year. They were getting curb stomped at Arkansas, and then they came back, and Arkansas pulled away a little bit. I believe they lost by double digits at Arkansas. We beat the tar out of them. So they got smacked around by both SEC teams they played. We beat Houston. Should have beat Kansas, which I'm not going to go down the line for all SEC teams. Hell, I don't think Georgia or A&M really played a ton of people before SEC play. But A&M, I think they were undefeated going into. I think A&M and
They
Georgia
were,
were
yes.
undefeated going into conference play, and
Hmm.
look at them now. I
Yeah.
think Georgia's sub 500 in the conference. A&M's petered off. They're still above 500. They're still a good basketball team. There's a lot of good teams, and I preface this by saying, back to the original point, you get a road win in this conference against a team that's ranked. That's awesome, especially a rivalry game. But I really do think, and I'm not saying it's Tennessee, I'm not saying it's Florida, I'm not saying who it is, but there's going to be some SEC teams surprise the shit out of people when it comes to tournament time because they're vetted. Like, every time you play in this conference outside of a couple teams, like Oklahoma's not good, LSU's not good, but for the most part, when you go on the road, my God, you better strap up.
I mean, I'm looking here now. Lenardi's got 9. Well, let's see. He's got 5 locks: Florida, Alabama, Vanderbilt, Tennessee, and Arkansas. In the should be in category, he has 4: Kentucky, Georgia, Texas A&M, and Auburn. And this was on Friday before they beat Kentucky on Saturday.
Texas A&M is better than all three of those other teams.
In the work to do category, he's got 2: Texas, who quietly keeps winning, not not a huge clip, but
They're not very good.
Texas and Missouri in the work to do category. So if the two that do have work to do move up to the should be in category, that's 11.
I think
Um,
Missouri should be in. Do they just keep losing or something?
they're 8-6 in the conference. They've lost, they're not losing all the time. I mean, they've just not won. I just don't think their resume adds up to like a Tennessee. Like Tennessee's got 5 quad 1 wins now. Houston, Alabama, Georgia,
Louisville.
Vanderbilt, and Louisville. So I found this. You know how I love analytics, Hard.
Hmm.
You talked about resume. So this website I was digging around on it the other day, teamrankings.com. I've referenced them before. They have a lot more in-depth, like projections, things like that, analytics on the website than I thought they did. So right now they have us finishing uh, the projected record, currently scheduled games only, of 23-8 at 40.1%. They have us finishing the conference at 12.7 wins, 5.3 losses. So basically 13-5, which is what you and I said a couple weeks ago. I honestly think now, and I might eat crow on Tuesday night when they go to Missouri and lose. I think they win these last 4 games. They're favored to win these last 4 games of the season. At Missouri, home against Alabama, on the road against South Carolina, who's awful, and then back home to finish the season against Vanderbilt. That's 3 out of the 4 games are quad 1 games. So their projected conference tournament seed by odds right now is a 2 seed in the conference. It's 40% that they are the 2 seed in the SEC tournament. If you look at the bracketology side of it, and this is a little different from what Lenardi, I think Lenardi has this as his top 5 seed, so the number 1 5 seed. Um, but on here it says the most likely seed percentage wise that Tennessee gets right now is a 4 seed. And they're this was funny. They have percentage to make the Final Four. This time last week it was 6.6%. It's now moved up to 8.8%. I just thought that was funny. And then last week, percentage to win the NCAA championship was 0.6%. Now it's 1.3%.
That's
Uh,
over double.
yeah. But I'm looking here. They have this nice little bar graph, Harb, and it says we have a 21.6% chance probability to get a 3 seed in the NCAA tournament, 23.4% chance to get a 4 seed, 20.6% chance to get a 5 seed, and then it plummets, going down 6, 7, 8, 9. Basically, almost impossible for them to get a 8 or a 7, 8, or 9 seed at this point. I mean, there's a chance, but um, it even goes deeper. NCAA tournament chances: make round of 64, 100%; make the round of 32, 87.7%; make it to the Sweet 16, 49.1%. So right now, basically 50% probability they get to the Sweet 16. Elite Eight, it drops down quite a bit, 21.1%. So, um, but yeah, this team, huge win on the road, a quad 1 win, like you mentioned earlier. They've got 3 more of those left on the schedule. I honestly think 14-4 is on the table now for this team. I said 13-5 3 weeks ago, um, and that was with losses at Vanderbilt and Kentucky. Well, they lost at Kentucky. They didn't lose at Vandy. They go take care of business at Missouri Tuesday night, which won't be an easy place to play. That's going to be a
Missouri,
tough game.
Missouri's going to be tough.
And
That's
we're
going to be tough.
analytically, I think it gives us like a 67% chance to win that game. But still, you got to go on the road and win it. Um,
I don't
you got a
think.
tough one next Saturday at TBA versus Alabama. We beat them in Tuscaloosa. They're going to come in here looking for revenge. They're playing well right now. Then you go to South Carolina. That should be a cakewalk, hopefully. And then you got Vandy coming in here on senior day to close out the season. So three three tough games to finish the season. I'm not South Carolina's not going to be I shouldn't think would be tough, but they've got a chance, win those four games and their resume, they're going to be 24-7, 14-4 in the SEC. Probably won't catch Florida, but they're going to be, win out, you're going to be the 2 or the 3 seed in the conference more than likely. So, this team was, I wouldn't say left for dead back in January, but there were people really down on them. Nate Ament's not playing well. We'd lost, blew that game at home to Kentucky. Things were just looking bad. And I said at the time, they've got several wins coming up on the schedule, and they took care of those wins. And then after they lost to Kentucky again, you and I sat here on here and said they're going to go 9-4 after that game, and then they've got a chance after that. Do they go 12-6, 13-5? We neither one of us said 14-4, but I legit the way they're playing right now and the way this team's grown, they can legit go 14-4 to finish the season in the SEC, which would be wild because they started the conference 2-3. But they've done this before. You think the last year they won the SEC title in the regular season with Dalton Connect, they started 2-3, I believe. Ended up going 14-4. So they've done it before, and that's just the DNA of this program. Some players have grown over the last month. Bishop Boswell, if he'd stop turning the ball over, he'd be perfect. Plays great defense. He's scoring a little bit more. Nate Ament's been awesome. Gillespie's playing really well right now. If they could keep Estrella healthy, he has been trending in the right direction. Okpara has been giving him some really good minutes on the defensive end, rebounding the basketball. Dwayne Brown gave him some good minutes yesterday. This team's just starting to gel finally. And we talked about it a month or so ago. It's like, man, this team just doesn't feel like they're playing well together. But Rick Barnes didn't give up on him. I hope you or I didn't give up on him. I know I didn't, but I had some doubt crept in my head there back in January. I was like, man, I just don't know if this team's got it or not. I'm not giving up on them, but they just don't look like they've got the weapons that they've had in the past. But yeah, they're not playing as elite a defense as they have in the past, but they're still playing good enough defense. But love the direction of this basketball team right now, Harb. They're playing really well. They've got some resume building games here in front of them to finish the season. And then you go to Nashville for the SEC tournament, and who knows what happens there. But they really need to be a 2 or a 3 seed so they can stay away from Florida until the championship game. But things are looking good for the basketball team. The Baller Vols, as Ronaldo Warlords used to call them.
They look good. They're finally starting to gel. You remember a few shows ago, I guess it was beginning of conference play. We talked about how they look we're 20 games in and they look like a team that just
Yeah.
still hadn't played with each other before. They're finally starting to look like there's cohesiveness, there's chemistry, and the biggest thing from that Vanderbilt game, I meant to mention this earlier. In my opinion, the biggest thing for that Vanderbilt game is Nate Ament had 13 points. He had a bad night from the floor, had some turnovers, and you still find a way to grind it out on the road. So Gillespie had 17, but it's not like anybody went off. Boswell continues to stuff the stat sheet, even with turnovers, like you said.
And silly, silly turnovers. That's what's frustrating.
It
It's not
is.
like it's just like, God, dude, just protect the basketball.
That's just a good team win. Point blank. It's fun. And that's the kind of stuff you need because Gillespie's not going to go for 25 or 30 every night. Ament's not going to have 30 every single time he steps on the court. He may have it a lot, or 25 to 29, somewhere in that general range. He may have it a lot. He's not going to do it every single time, especially when you play good teams. You got to figure out a way to do it when your first couple options don't necessarily work out, and we did. And that kind of win gives me a lot of hope going forward. So I don't know. I think the sky's the limit with this team, especially when you learn how to do it this way. We did this weekend. When you couple that with option one and option two, one of them going off, it's going to be pretty hard to lose. So yeah, I like as of right now, February 22nd at 10:30 at night. I'm optimistic with this team now, which I've went up and down on this team. I've never fully given up or fully bought in, but this is one of the highest I've been on this team all year long.
This is as high as I've been on them since that Houston win.
Yeah, yeah, it's comparable to that feeling.
When Rick Barnes said after the Oklahoma game, when was that? Tuesday night, Wednesday night, that was the best game they'd played all year. And I was like, man, better than the Houston game. They played really well against Oklahoma, and Oklahoma's not very good, but they'll battle with you. I mean, they went to Vandy and won earlier in the year, um, but Barnes said after game, he said, guys, I'm telling you, that is the best game you've played all year long. And I didn't think much of it. I just was like, really? But then watching what they did Saturday, even though they were behind several different times and by several points, they, kept battling, found a way, and JWTDG'd it.
That's what it's all about, ain't it?
That's all anything's about, Harb. JWTDG.
I don't care if it's pretty.
No. I just want to see the W, as Estrella does. So, well, we'll see. They've got tough one Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. Love those 9 o'clock games during the week, Harb. Those midweek 9 o'clock games, lovely.
Yeah, yeah, those are interesting.
And it'll be a wild atmosphere there in Como. But yeah, it's what happens when Tennessee's one of those teams now that draws big crowds when they go on the road. So they just this program should be ready for it. They've played in enough big games over the years. It should just be another big game to them. So that's one of these games you go out there and take care of business and show the rest of the conference and the country who you are. The computers realize it. They're 14th in KenPom, 17th in the net rankings, but the voters and the rest of the nation they don't notice the Vols right now, and that's fine. We'll just quietly keep winning and go about our business. But yeah, big tough one on Tuesday night at Columbia, Missouri against the Missouri Tigers, who probably need a win to boost their resume, and then we come home on Saturday night against the Crimson Tide, Alabama, without Charles Bediako.
G League dropout.
Yep, too bad. Harb, you got anything else? That's all I got for tonight.
Yeah, yeah. Obviously, everybody that's listening to this knows about the West Rucker thing. Awful, tragic is. Which I said this in the group, in our group chat. I never I never agreed with 100% of the things he said, but he always was just straight up, straight to the point. He always said what he thought. He never changed it based on what anybody thought. I always respected that. And at the root of all this, he's a father, a husband. His wife is pregnant. It's awful, and it's been cool to see how many people have stepped up and helped him out because he was unable to have life insurance because of that stroke he had years ago. Even Matt Jones from KSR, I don't know if you saw that. He dropped a pretty healthy, generous donation in there. So
Yeah, I saw that.
It sucks that this is how we get reminded, but it is a nice reminder that we're all human and sports are just for fun. It just kind of brings everybody together. But yeah, check on your people. You never know. I mean, hell, he was just on his way home. So I don't want to end on a rough note, but
Yeah, that stunk. And I'm with you there. I mean, I didn't agree on a lot of the things that he said, but
but that doesn't matter.
no,
Like I
it
almost
doesn't.
didn't even say that.
Yeah.
So
But I was
yeah,
saying
he lost
that
the
to
ball.
say Yeah, I mean, I did not agree with a lot of things he said. I've even had some interactions with him on X that I chuckled at. I think I shared it with you all. When WBIR hired him, I was like, that's about on par for WBIR with the direction that news station's going. And he wrote back, "You must be making Carter proud." I chuckled when I saw it. I didn't respond. Guy we know, Brett Bivens, kind of laughed at it online. But I will say, I've listened to his podcast. You see his reports from Neyland Stadium or Thompson Bowling, whatever stadium he's at after the games, and he did his job well, whether you agreed with him or not. He was passionate about it, and he was great at it. I mean, you can't get on him for that. He worked hard at it, did his job well. Local sports reporters probably don't make a lot of money like the national guys do, but it's kind of cool to see all these national tops talking about him, donating to his GoFundMe. And there's a GoFundMe out there, like Harb mentioned earlier, that you can donate to. But yeah, that was bad. That was terrible news the other day. It happened not far from where I was actually trying to get on the interstate to go that direction that day, and it was like at a standstill. And so I got back off the interstate. I had no idea that's what it was. But yeah, just awful. I mean, just going home after he just recorded his show. I think it was uh, 10 Sports at 3 on their YouTube channel, whatever it is. But yeah, he was a Cubs fan. So I'm a Cubs fan. So that stinks. But yeah, it was cool to see. I think Vandy at their press row set a seat aside for him. They did the same at Lindsey Nelson Friday night, had a moment of silence for him. So, and Rick Barnes has talked about him, and Scott Van Pelt, Laura Rutledge, list goes on and on. So, I hope his family's proud of that, at least, that he was very well respected in the area. And I always laughed at people when they would talk about him on X or social media, they would spell his name WE money dollar sign because he was one of the first that was like charging for content back in the day, which a lot of people do now. But they always called him Wes WE dollar sign. But yeah, terrible news the other day for Vol athletics in general. So because he was at every Tennessee sporting event pretty much. Baseball was his passion, but he was football and basketball too. So let's end on an upbeat note, Harb. How about it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Great show tonight. Vols are looking good. Baseball's got some work to do. Softball's looking fantastic. Those ladies are on fire right now. Lady Vols, not good, but they got time to correct it. We'll see if Coach Kim gets them going. You got any closing thoughts?
Real quick, shout out to one of our loyal listeners and very close friends of the show. Um, I forget his call-in name. The one that may or may not work on teeth in South Carolina.
Hmm.
What's his call-in name?
I don't know.
Never mind.
I
Never
don't
mind.
know.
Anyway, I was just gonna say his neighbor Jacob Bridgman, who's a Spartanburg, South Carolina native, born and raised,
Yes.
uh, won the Genesis today, first ever PGA Tour win. Tried to give it away.
Hmm.
He didn't though. He had a very nervy 3.5 footer to not go into a 3-man playoff with Kurt Kitayama and Rory. But yeah, shout out to him. Shout out to Spartanburg. That
The
was
the Sparkle City.
it was there wasn't a whole lot of parody involved, or not parody. That's the wrong word for it. There wasn't a whole lot of craziness, but it did come down to 18, and then Rory obviously made a 30-footer on 18 to really put the heat on Bridgman. I don't like Rory, but I thought that was pretty funny, and I was honestly looking forward to a playoff. But I'll take him winning over Rory having a chance. So good on him. I always like seeing the guys get their first win on tour. It's always pretty cool. So shout out to
La
him.
Last thing I'll say is we didn't really talk about it hardly at all last week, but the Daytona 500 was last Sunday. Tyler Reddick won for 2311 Motorsports. And for those that don't know, one of the owners of 2311 is the GOAT, the greatest basketball player of all time, Michael Jordan. Well, they won again today. He won. Tyler Reddick won again today in Atlanta. Same style track, smaller track, but it's a drafting track. But they won again today. So 2311 and MJ's won two in a row, and he's at every race. That's what's the. It's like I can't get over that Michael Jordan, and he's like right in the middle of their celebrations. Like he's all in on NASCAR right now, and
Yeah.
it's really cool to see because he really didn't. Yeah, he made a bunch of money off of the Hornets while he owned them. They increased in value, but they stunk while he was the owner.
Yeah.
He's not had a good track record as an owner. He's on fire right now in NASCAR. So hoping that brings some eyeballs to the sport, just his presence alone. But it was like crazy. They interviewed him twice during the race. He's just hanging out in the pits. Has no team gear on at all. He's wearing like a beige sweatsuit out there with a white hat. Like, man, if I was him, I'd have every one of my team's logos on, and but he doesn't. But yeah, he they interviewed him mid-race twice, and they interviewed him right after the race was over. He was the first interview, so yeah, really cool to see. A lot of momentum in NASCAR right now. They're off to a good start this year, so um, we'll see where that goes. They're at a road course next week, so probably won't talk about that next week, but. Yeah, big win for MJ. LeBron could never.
He maybe could. Never know.
No, he couldn't. He
Oh,
would he would flop.
yeah, yeah. Big flopper.
Big flopper. All right, Harb. Great show as always. Appreciate everybody listening. Numbers are still up. Good ratings from last week again. So if you're listening, appreciate it. Remember to like, share, subscribe. Send it out to everybody you know. Um, we're going to get a special guest PP on here at some point. Talked to him a little bit over the weekend. I got to get him on here though. Just so much going on right now. I keep forgetting. I need somebody to book my guest for me, Harb. So I need a booker.
I don't think we're that busy.
No, pretty right now. I'm pretty busy. It's about to slow down though. Thank God.
Busy, busy, busy.
Busy, busy, busy. All right, Harb. Good to see you again.
Good to see you as well.
Everybody, thanks for listening. We'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, the Vols get us two wins this week. Hopefully, they can find a way to win some baseball and softball and women's basketball games as well. But we'll be back next week to talk about it. For Harb, I'm Nice, and you've been listening to the Section YY8 podcast.